Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Connor here to talk to you about Phase 2. We have done some research about podcasts. Now we're going to do some reflection. During this part, you're going to do some reading about kind of current events, about how people around your age are looking out into the world, deciding what's important to them, and taking action. So remember, you have your family Flipgrid. You're going to explain these things. What is important to you? What experiences have you had that made those things important? And how does that important thing guide your beliefs and actions? We've got some new vocabulary. We've got a mini lesson that you will see also as collaborative work for FlexStation. We've got another mini lesson that explains how to annotate and identify organizational patterns and structures in a text. And then we have this article, this piece of work that starts our thinking and our investigation for our reflection. So you get to pick from only one of three articles. You only read one of them. And then you're going to explain the basic information controlling ideas, supporting details, organizational patterns, why you felt it was important after you read it. So you can read about a teenager whose style shoe design business launch tackles the idea of skin color and footwear. You're going to fill in your who, what, why, and how for the article and the controlling idea. You can read about how Greta Thunberg, who is working on climate change to help leaders across the world make the right changes to policy in their countries to improve the condition of the climate. And a 13-year-old who opened a bakery to sell cupcakes, and he's using it to help the homeless also. So you get to pick one of those three articles, whichever one you don't read. Let's say that you like the first article about shoes. You would delete the other two so that there is only the one article, and you keep slide 7 and you fill it out after you read the article. We're going to have a quick write that you're going to explain what is important to your family and your community. What are those values? And if you're not sure, you start with thinking about the values that are important to you because you are a member of your family and your community. We have another practice analysis. So, how story is benefiting kids and adults. And as podcast makers, you are storytellers. You are communicating to the outside community about an idea. We also have practice for organizational patterns. So we're going to investigate what the teenage brain can teach us about thinking creatively. Those are your brains right now, or almost your brains in the next 6 months, year, 18 months, something like that. But there's a lot of value into the brain that you're, or the mind that your brain is turning into, as far as making just creative decisions, coming up with creative ideas and solutions, seeing things from a different perspective. So that's why we're going to read this article for our reflection. Now, how do we do this article? Well, as you read, we've got our title, we've got where it's from, when it was published. As we read, we notice these colored speech boxes, and we're going to drag and drop them and point them at an organizational phrase, word that tells us how the supporting details and the controlling idea are being organized in this text. So, teenagers generate colossal revenue on YouTube and draw millions of views in Minecraft and makeup streams. They create endlessly on TikTok. They learn second languages and sonatas. They invent dances, coin slang words, and lead political movements. So why don't teenagers get more credit? Now, I've identified this as a compare contrast because we have this idea that teenagers are creative. And then it's contrasting the reality of teenagers not getting credit for their ideas and their creativity with what they're actually doing. So that is compare contrast as an organizational pattern. You are going to continue to read and drag and drop as needed, highlight in the colors that you think. If you think this is advantage, disadvantage, you would select it, go to the color that matches it. Now you have this, and you can drag the yellow diamond so that I know you are looking at advantage, disadvantage. After we read that article, we're going to answer a couple of multiple choice questions, and that is it for phase 2. We have to finish phase 2 before we start wayfinding, before you start fully grasping and jumping into the type of podcast you want to make. So work hard, stay focused. If you have questions, please let me know.